All right, YouTube, it's Mr. Mean coming at you live. I can say that now. We got a good one tonight. I normally record my videos and then I'm able to add my Nerds International little intro and everything into it, and then I upload it, and it takes forever for the encoding. And I'm sorry, my nerd brothers, I love you guys all deeply, but this is so much easier and it's live. I don't really care if anybody joins in or not, but what I do care about is the ease of use after a long day of work. And I'm trying to put more content out. I'm sure there's a way to add that little preemptive intro for Nerds International. I'll have to figure it out when I have more time over the weekend or maybe at work. We're going to do two things tonight, though. We're and I'm speaking as if I'm doing a normal video where I'm not broadcasting live. If people jump in and join in, that's great. We'll make it just a chat session and go from there. But two things. We're going to talk about Degenesis. You probably haven't heard of this RPG. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is they just announced yesterday, I think it was yesterday morning or the day before, Kevin Symbieta from Palladium Games announced that the Wave 2 Kickstarter for Robotech for the tactical miniatures game wasn't happening. And we're going to talk about that after we talk about Degenesis. And if anybody pops into the feed or whatever, we may go back and go to that. Therefore, I'm on Discord. Go to my YouTube channel, hit up the Discord. I have my Discord on. So if you want the link to jump into the chat and sit and chat with me, and you don't mind being on camera, I see I got 3 viewers. Woohoo! Thank you, guys. You can come on in and chat with me. There's a couple of guys that are on the Degenesis game on Discord that are down for it. And so, pardon me if I don't look like I'm looking at the thing because, well, I'm weird and I'm doing some other stuff on my keyboard. Bear with me, guys. That's what happens when you go live talking. I'm just posting this in a couple other sites for those that care, just so everybody can get it. Because I know I got a couple people out there that listen to me. I hope everybody had a great day at work. Mine was pretty good. I was able to get some stuff printed, and we have our own little print shop, and the guys in the print shop did me a solid. All right, I posted a couple links in Discord. I think I got it on my personal, under my YouTube channel. So if anybody wants to jump in, there's a link there. It should allow you to jump in. I'm still new to all of this, but this is going to be rough because I don't have it spiral bound yet. It's 300 and oh my God, this is not going to be easy. That's the character sheet. So that's art. So 352, 53, 54, 50, 355 pages. 355 pages of gaming goodness. Everybody knows Mr. Mean is very particular about his art in his RPGs, and I can tell you this one hits it home. Shattered, if any of my indie brothers and sisters are out there listening or watching, Shattered is by far probably one of the best looking RPGs I've seen in a long time. The layout, the fonts, the art in and of itself is amazing. There is no doubt about it. And these guys are IT guys, some layout guys. I mean, they're in the industry. They made a game that they wanted to play, and it's awesome. And I did a live interview with those guys, and it's on my channel. It says Shattered right across the top. Go check it out. But this one is from Germany, the Führerland, my peoples, and it's called Degenesis. They have a live action video. I mean, this is a production house. They are an art studio. So that being said, I expect, nay, I say I demand phenomenal art from your product. Boy, did they fucking deliver. Oh my God. I don't want to keep making references to Shattered but that's the only book that comes to mind that's been published in the last couple of years that is just absolutely gorgeous compared to all other RPGs that are out on the market. That's not to say there's not some good looking games out there. I think the Dark Eye core rulebook is gorgeous. I love the art, but it's all, I don't want to say animated, but it's a different style of art. The Shattered art is very evocative. It moves you when you look at it. You go, oh shit, that's scary, or oh, that's cool, or oh, that's whatever. Degenesis does this, which is an amazing thing, and I want to say kudos to these guys. I don't have a physical book that's actually produced by them because it's cost prohibitive. I looked at ordering the books today online. They come from Germany. It was $202, and that included shipping. And I was like, for 2 books, as gorgeous as they are, they come in a slipcover. I've put a link in the show notes here. You should be able to see it. Gorgeous books, but I can't afford that. That's way out of my price range. So I got the PDFs, and this is it. So when you buy the book, there's the black cover is completely sold out. They can't get it. I don't even know if they're going to do another print run. They haven't kind of said if they are or they aren't. But look at this. This is a tome. This doesn't even have covers. I'm going to take this to Office Depot tomorrow and get it spiral bound. So what is Degenesis? Well, that's kind of hard to say. I haven't read the books. They're in PDF, and these old eyes just don't read on a computer screen for long periods of time like that. That being said, I know a little bit about the game. It's very much a post-apocalyptic game. It's in the future. If I understand it correctly from what I've gathered, Earth was hit with a meteorite somewhere around like 2075, 2072, and pretty much killed a shit ton of people. But the problem was the meteorite released some sort of fungus or spores or contaminant that just effed everything up. And it changed the flora and the fauna of the earth, and people started genetically changing. So not only do you have this road warrior, very little government, very little, police force, survival at its finest, and degenerates and so on and so forth, but now you have genetic alteration in play. And so here it is. I don't know what the time frame is. I haven't seen a timeline in the book, but it's several years past. It may be a couple of generations. And you have this world in which you're trying to survive. And this is very much a game of, it's very well written from what I've read so far. I really like it. The nice part is it comes in 2 books as the core book. The first book is all fluff and world setting, tells you about exactly what happened, why the world's gone to shit, and what the factions are and what the areas are. And of course, this is a German game, so it's basically based on Central European geography. In fact, I didn't even see a map of the United States in there. I just saw Europe, Italy, France, all of that stuff. So first and foremost, if you're a fan of dark, gritty, God, am I going to survive today type game, then this is a game for you. I don't even know what the mechanics are. I haven't gotten that far into it. I just got my copies of PDFs, and they are, like I said, they're absolutely gorgeous. The art is phenomenal. Book 2 is called Catharsis. Make that of it as you will, but I don't want to tear this apart too much because it's too hard to get it all put back together. But my print guy at work put on a nice, really nice, it's kind of this slick paper, and then, I mean, you can look at that image. That's evocative of the art that's in this book. I mean, it's just, that's amazing. The detail and the quality of this book is just literally phenomenal. Here's another piece to show you the art. It's very dark. Chapter 5, game mechanics. It's just gorgeous. I mean, this I thought was a very cool picture. Some robotic dude or some guy in power armor carrying a little boy, or it could be a little girl. It's kind of androgynous, but yeah, it's phenomenal. And these pages don't have page numbers, so yeah, so it goes like that. So and then just to show you that it's not all doom and gloom and death and destruction. There's some kids playing in the apocalypse. They're playing warriors. So the art is bar none fan fucking tastic. Actually, so it goes like that. I got to remember which way I turn these. The book is laid out well. It's very dingy and grungy, but when you physically buy a copy of the book, I'm sure the book is going to be gorgeous. I looked online and I couldn't find anything, anybody doing like an unboxing or anything. It doesn't appear that this was a Kickstarter or anything. This appears that it was a straight up just to print. These guys are there, like I said, they're their own. This is their IP. They are a art house. They do all kinds of stuff. They do videography. They do animation. They're just phenomenal. I'm sure the production value on this book, the physical book, is going to be amazing. I have no doubt. I would love to see a hard copy. If the guys from Degenesis are watching this or see it later, and you want to, feel free to send me a copy because I couldn't afford to buy it. I would not say no. And I very rarely say that. I prefer publisher and stuff, send me stuff PDF, because I think it takes food out of your mouth. And that's a kind of a pet peeve of mine, because I know a lot of people in the industry and they're not rich by any means. They're living paycheck to paycheck, just like me. So while I appreciate it and everything, and I think it's awesome that they would offer, I would prefer they send me a PDF copy. I'm not going to lie. I'd love a hardback copy. And a lot of times I take my PDFs and I print them so that I can have a hard copy. But I don't want to cause a company to lose revenue just to send me a free copy. I just, it's something about my personal ethics or whatever. It grates on me a little bit. But wow, what a gorgeous book. I wanted to be able to try and show it a little bit. I don't have the ability to screen capture as much as I would like to. But here's another piece of art that's just, I mean, wow, that's just crazy. Look at that. I'm trying not to get the glare on there. I mean, in this camera, I have a very good camera, but it's not doing it justice. I mean, unfortunately, it's this is amazing. So if you've seen this game, if you know about it, let me know, because I mean, it's awesome. I'm just trying to see if nobody's messaged me or anything. So I just want to see if anybody wants to come in and chit chat with me. Always welcomed, but I've got a couple people watching, so thank you very much. This is going to be an amazing game. There's actually going to be an online game. Me and Mr. James from Feral Games Inc. are going to be playing, I guess. It's not starting until like May, though, unfortunately, which it really isn't that far away. So I'm very excited. I'll definitely keep you guys appraised of how it's going. So that is Degenesis there. I'll make sure that a link gets in the show notes so you guys can see more of it. Go to their website. It's the name of the company, which I think is phenomenal, is 6morevodka.com. 6more vodka, all one word. And they have an outrageous, crazy portfolio. It's absolutely gorgeous. Yeah, they do computer generated animation. They do videography. I mean, they do everything. It's amazing what they do. And then I guess they're out of Germany, according to their address on their website. So it's amazing. Let me confirm that website, because I don't want to give anybody the wrong information, because that would suck. Let's see here. It's not gonna, let's see if it takes me to their homepage. I wish I had some better software that would allow me to share my screen while I do these. Yeah, they're out of Boxhagener Straub, Berlin, Germany. Yeah, so there's a phone number. There's sales at 6morevodka.com. They have the Degenesis German version and the Degenesis English version. So both phenomenal. And I believe there is no difference between the two, except that they're in different languages. I believe the layout and everything is exactly the same. So an amazing game. I think the guys from Indie would love this game. I think it's right up their line. It's they have a live action trailer for the game. And like I said, I don't think this thing went to Kickstarter or not. I think it was just they just produced the game, which is freaking cool if you ask me. So the other thing, and we're going to be on for a little bit tonight, so if people want to pop in and pop out, that's fine. The other thing I wanted to talk about is the Palladium Rifts, or not Rifts, Palladium Robotech miniatures game. I saw that Kevin Symbieta had posted a response to the Kickstarters. Now, let me preface this by saying I'm a Palladium fan. I'm a long time Palladium fan. Kevin and his guys have, supported me very well over the years, even to the point where all my game books got stolen at a convention, and I never even asked them for to replace the games. And then a couple weeks later, a box showed up on my doorstep full of stuff. And a note from Kevin that said, "Hey, sorry, hope this helps." And I've over the years, I've bought books as they come out. But one of the things that I learned early on is, and my good friend Brian kind of drilled this into me, is set your level of expectation. Prior planning prevents piss poor performance. The 6 P's in the military. And what I mean by that is, if you've dealt with Palladium books over the years, it has always been one tragic event after another. Warehouse or wherever they were working out of was robbed. Kevin got divorced from his wife. That created a huge legal battle, took all his money. It was one, and I hate to use the word excuse, one event after another that caused setbacks. There for a while on the Palladium forums, there was help save Palladium, buy stuff. And a lot of people said, this is a marketing ploy. He's not hurting, blah, 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 whatever. It doesn't matter. It's his own business. He can do with it what he wants. At the end of the night, he's the guy that has to look in the mirror and, deal with what he's done for that day. And they did a crowdsource before Kickstarter ever fired up. They did Northern Gun books 1 and 2. And I remember I got a $100 check from my mother-in-law for my birthday. She always gives me $100 for my birthday. So my wife and I, we had decent money at that time. We were both working. We had good jobs. And so I took that $100 and I backed the hardback leather at cover embossed of Northern Gun Book 1. And I got my book. I got it roughly on time of when they said I was going to get it and everything. No problems. No fanfare, no nothing. It was cut and dry. It took a little while. It wasn't anything exorbitant or super long. It pretty much came out kind of when they said it was going to come out. And I felt good about it. I was like, hey, I got a beautiful book. It's cool. It's exactly the same as what's on the shelves right now, except it just has a leather embossed cover. Cool. Good for me. I got something that a lot of people don't have, and I'm okay with that. But then I started seeing other people complaining on the forums, because I do troll the forums every so often. I saw as the years went on, and I noticed it myself, not even from other people pointing it out, there was always a level of tragedy involving something at Palladium. This went wrong, that went wrong, we have to do this, we don't have money for this. It was always one excuse or another to the fans. And again, I want to state for anybody, because it looks like we got 10 viewers on now. Welcome everybody who's joined in and is watching. I want to state I'm a Palladium books fan. I love Riffs. You can't really see it, but back there behind my Torque box set is the Savage Riffs box set. And Sean Patrick Fannin, I'm actually proud to say is a friend of mine. And I asked Sean, how did you, because everybody knows Kevin and Palladium Books send cease and desist orders like crazy. I mean, the moment you put up something regarding his IP, if it hasn't been approved by his people, you will get a cease and desist letter in the mail. And so it was pretty cool, because Sean said it was real easy. Called him up and I said, hey, I'm going to be in town. Can I meet with you? I want to talk about something. And Kevin said, sure. And Sean said that he got there. He had a little presentation. He showed it to him. He showed him, Savage Worlds. And he said, he gave him the idea. He pitched his idea. He said it took less than an hour. And Kevin said, let's do this. No muss, no fuss. So it's not that he's an unreasonable guy. It's not that he's an asshole. It's not that he's a saint. He's a human being. He's in a business to make money. And, all things being said, over the years, I have noticed, in my own personal opinion, I have noticed that there always seems to be a state of emergency in some way, shape, or form at Palladium Games. This book couldn't get done because of this. So and so passed away. And all of these, at the time seemed like valid reasons. But after a while, you get tired of hearing excuses. And this goes on anywhere, whether it's in your personal life or in your professional life, with your friends, whatever. When you keep getting excuses for everything that's supposed to happen, you start to expect excuses. And that's no way to run a business or run a company. So when I saw the Kickstarter announced in 2015 or 2013, because it's been 5 years. In 2013, they announced the Robotech tabletop miniatures game with a relaunch of the RPG and all these stretch goals, and it funded like hotcakes. I think he got near $2 million. I mean, it was crazy. He got like a $175 million, something. It was an ungodly amount of money. And Harmony Gold is a Japanese company that owns the rights to Robotech, and they have graciously allowed, and I'm sure with a little kickback of money because the licensing works that way, they allowed Palladium Books to publish the RPG using their system, their percentage-based system. And Palladium's had that license for years. So they announced this Kickstarter, and I mean, they had some awesome stretch goals. It looked amazing. The prototypes they'd put up were awesome. Everything looked great. They were getting money hand over fist. The Kickstarter closed on time with a ton of money. Everything was good. Everybody's supposed to be happy, right? And then the delays start coming, one excuse after another, and then after a year goes by and you don't see any resolution or anything's coming, any sooner, and then another year goes by, you start to lose hope. Now, one of the things that I like to point out, when you look at Kickstarter and you read the fine print, there's a simple little line in there that basically states, if the project funds, meaning they get all their money, they reached their target goal, it is the Kickstarter organizer, the person behind the game. So in this case, Kevin Symbieta and Palladium Books, it is their job to produce said product for the price that they have agreed upon, that you agreed upon. So you're essentially entering into a contract with this company to make this game, and you're giving them the money up front. So in that aspect, I think Kickstarter is awesome. I know a lot of people have a bitch and a complaint about Kickstarter, but we wouldn't see some of the cool games that we do see if it weren't for Kickstarter. League of Seekers, James Gantry's Fairlink Games. They're horror Cthulhu type horror games set in the turn of the century, 17th, 18th century Europe. That would never come to be, but it's successfully funded on Kickstarter, and I'm going to get my copy. That's amazing. That's awesome. This is a game this is a small press guy. He doesn't have 10 grand sitting around to publish, proof, print, and ship out to the public and get it into game stores. He just doesn't have that money. That's why you don't see a ton of small press RPGs out there. Wasn't until the advent of Kickstarter that we started seeing all these games come up, which is awesome, because it gives the creator the capital to move forward with this project. Now, that being said, getting back to that fine print that's at the bottom of the Kickstarter page, one of the lines basically says, that if you've taken everybody's money and you produce the product, or you've taken the money, you've reached your stretch goal, and you don't produce the product, you have to give them their money back. It's that simple. I don't think this is rocket science. I've been reading on the Kickstarter page, everyone's screaming, and Kevin put out a just huge long email on the Kickstarter saying he's so sorry and he's lost the license to Harmony Gold for Robotech. So therefore, once the license expires, he can't sell anything. He's legally and contractually obligated to not sell that product. So if he's got a warehouse full of this shit sitting in a warehouse, he's going to lose his ass, and he's already lost his ass. Has he lost as much money as he says he has? I don't believe so. I think this is another one of Palladium's colossal, horrible events that has happened, and it's come back to bite them. And unfortunately, in this case, it's a Kickstarter thing. And here's the thing. It's toxic now. There's a lot of comments about "fuck you, Kevin. I hope you rot in hell. I hope you get everything you deserve. I hope your company dissolves." At the end of the day, whether he did this on purpose, if it's extreme mismanagement, whatever it may be, I have to look at it and go, some of this is your fault. Because in this world we live in, where the internet is king and information is king, why did you back something that with just a little bit of knowledge, you may have said, maybe I shouldn't back this. Maybe I'll wait until it hits the retail shelves and I'll buy it that way. Or maybe I'll only back for $30 and I won't go $200. There was one guy on there complaining he went $1,000 in and he hasn't gotten anything yet because everything he banked was for Wave 2, which isn't going to be produced. Now, of course, Harmony Gold, after seeing this fiasco, I have no doubt that the board of executives and the people, the movers and shakers behind Harmony Gold looked at this and went, "Oh, he fucked up very bad." I have no doubt. And they pulled that license. And rightly so. I would do the exact same thing because that's, at the end of the day, that's their IP. That's their product. And the first thing you say is, "Oh, remember that Robotech game? Oh, you mean the manga? Yeah. Well, oh yeah, the RPG or the tabletop game." You've already got a negative, and it's going to be hard for them to distance themselves as it is from that, because the Robotech RPG is a big IP. It's a big seller for Palladium Books. And now it's toxic. Nobody's going to touch it with a 10-foot pole. I guarantee you within a month's time, you'll see a lot of those books in your favorite local game store in the discount bin. And they're just going to try to get $2 for a $30 book. I mean, and that's horrible. That's sad to say. But that's where it's gone. And like I said, I think part of the fault is on the Kickstarter followers, the people that threw their hard-earned money at it. And I feel for you. I'm not saying that you're an idiot or you're dumb for wasting your money. What I am saying is Palladium has a track record. It's not hard to find that track record. You can go on their forums alone and you can read and see how people have been bitching about, "I've been waiting for this book for 20 years, or I've been waiting for this book for 5 years. And there's always an excuse. And there's never like an official statement from Palladium saying why this book is so delayed. It's just excuses. And that's horrible. That's not a good thing. And again, I'm not bashing Palladium. I like their games. I don't play them currently, but I do play them every once in a while. And I do like their games. I like their products. I like Robotech. I like Rifts. I like Palladium Fantasy. But look at the history. And I guess so the big thing here is, I know a couple people, my good friend Thomas, he backed the Torg Kickstarter. He backed it at the $200 level, just like me. He hasn't gotten his stuff. And he was all pretty upset about it. He was, texting me and another friend bitching about, they screwed him and, they fucked up and da-da-da. They probably did. He sent the way Kickstarter works, for those that don't know, is you pledge your money. It runs a certain amount of time, typically 30 to 60 days or whatever the time frame is that you set. It runs for that period. And when that period hits a hard stop, Kickstarter charges your credit card or whatever form of payment that you've set up, and they charge your credit card. And then usually 2 weeks to a month after that, they get all of those funds. They send it to the Kickstarter person, the originator of the Kickstarter, the person who's going to provide the products, and then they start working out how they're going to, production, and it goes into these phases. And usually the purveyor of the goods will keep updates on their Kickstarter page saying, you know, week 17, we're at this stage, we're making this, blah, blah, blah. And it goes back and forth, and you ask questions, and, you know, and it just goes back and forth. It's an open dialogue basically between you and the provider. And that never really happened with Robotech. And I went back and I read all the updates and stuff, and we got a bunch of excuses. And then people started saying, hey, where's my shit? And all it was excuses. Never once did they come out and say, we fucked up, we didn't do this right. And nothing like that. It all came back to excuses. Well, the 3D printing we were using isn't compatible. I'm in IT. I know sometimes things aren't compatible, but there's always a way to make it work. And so I cried bullshit there. If the files were incorrect, there's got to be a way to transition those files from, you know, point A to point B, or in program X to program Y. There's always a way to do it. Sometimes it's not easy, it's not cost effective, but it can be done. And that was never brought up. They never said, oh, well, you know, it basically, the excuse was, oh, we got to remake all the 3D renders. I cry bullshit, but I'm not into 3D printing. I don't know the ins and outs. So maybe it is correct, but nobody from Palladium came out and said exactly what happened. They just said, oh, shit broke and we got to redo everything. And sorry for the delay. And then radio silence again. So it's gone on and on and on. And so I guess my point here is, for those of you that are uninitiated or haven't done it or are thinking about doing, Kickstarter is a wonderful thing. My friend Thomas got burned. Ulysses Spiel is a great company. Ulysses Spiel North America is a great company. Now, supposedly what they told him is they shipped all the product back to Germany. I find that hard to believe that a company that big with that huge of a Kickstarter wouldn't keep a couple copies here in the States for things that got damaged. I know the several Kickstarters I've backed where things got damaged, and I did a video on it. Now, granted, I have the public behind me, and, you know, so, oh, that's fucked up. And, you know, and nobody wants bad publicity, but still, I would think a company that big would keep a couple copies behind and say, okay, well, you know, we know some are going to get damaged in shipping and and so we're going to keep, you know, 50, and, you know, we're going to send the rest back to, you know, to Germany and then ship from our warehouse there. And so, I mean, the shipping was very reasonable on Torg, everything. You know, and there's fuck ups that happen in all these Kickstarters. I haven't seen one that's run smooth yet. They said you were supposed to get an email from Card Kingdom saying with the tracking number. And they sent this out. There's all over their updates. Oh, please check your email, check your spam. You're going to get an email from Card Kingdom saying when your stuff ships. I never got that email. I got an email from UPS telling me that it was shipped and I could track it and everything. So I was okay because I knew exactly every step of the way where my package was. So life was good. My friend Thomas never got an email. And then Ulysses Spiel came back and said, we never got your response. Because they send out, after the Kickstarter ends, they send you a response, and you have to fill out your address, confirm the products you got, confirm your payment and everything, and any add-ons that you want to purchase after. There's a process to go through. And he went through that process, and he found his email that he sent back to them. Again, we live in a digital age. Everything's pretty much backed up for the most part. You're running out of excuses when the days of I didn't get it are kind of long gone. And so they said they didn't get it. Now, I love Ulysses Spills. Right here on my desk to my left is a huge stack of the Dark Eye. Everything that they have out in English right now, I have. And I've done plenty of videos on it. You can hear me gush about it. I love Ulysses Spiel. They've done a great job. My Torg is sitting right there. You can see it. I got my product when they said I was going to get it. There were delays. There were shipping issues. There was proof issues with the printer and everything. But they kept us abreast of it. Now, in my friend Thomas's case, I don't know if they lied to him. I don't know if they miscalculated, whatever. I mean, it was well within the time frame of when people were still getting packages, and he contacted them and said, hey, I don't have tracking number. I don't have nothing. And they said, we don't know who you are. That's bullshit. I love the guys at Ulysses Spiel. I think they're great, but that somebody dropped the ball. Now, all that being said, of course, all that did was put a very acidic taste in Thomas's mouth. So to make things short and succinct, they finally reached out to him and they said, hey, we'll either give you your money back or you can wait for it to come, from Germany and you'll get your stuff. In the long end, he opted to wait and get his stuff. He texted me and said, what should I do? I said, you've already paid for it. Why would you want to get a refund and not get it when this is one of the RPGs that's near and dear to your heart? He loves Torg. He's a huge Torg fan. So I'm like, you've already spent the money, man. It's been a year already. You might as well get what you paid for. And they're willing to send it to you. Now, that being said, I wouldn't be surprised if they put a little something extra in his box. Ulysses Spiels is pretty good about that. And most of these gun companies are. If something happens that's wrong, or you go and you do a video or whatever, or you reach out to them, a lot of times they put a little thank you in there, which is super cool. I mean, guys like me that create content on YouTube, we appreciate it. I ain't rich by any means. So when you throw something extra in that box, it makes me a happy camper. And I think my enthusiasm showed when I did the unboxing video. I was pretty excited about the Torg. I never plan on running that game ever, because it's not the kind of game I like to GM, but I'll play the hell out of it. I think it's a fun game. But I get where people are coming from, when things like this happen on Kickstarter. And I guess the point here I'm trying to make is Kickstarter is a viable option for small press and indie press games. It's also a risk. And anybody who goes on there and throws their, $30, $50, $100, $200, $750, whatever amount you toss in there, if you don't read the fine print, then that's your fault. When these companies that have had problems in the past, like Palladium, has had problems for years, 20 years going back, I can remember Palladium sending out stuff saying about they had the warehouse got broken into, Kevin's computer was stolen, or whatever the drama may be. This guy's had a history of nightmares that just follow him. So either this guy is a straight up shitty businessman, or he has the worst luck in the world. And to be honest, I probably believe a little bit of both. And I get it. This is his heart's blood. This is his life and soul, and he wants it to do good. But sometimes when you're that deep into it, you can't see the forest for the trees. And I think that's kind of where he's at. I think his intentions were good, but I think he mismanaged the money. I have no doubt about that. Just the numbers that he gave out versus the final. You can go right on Kickstarter's page and you can see exactly how much money it was for everything. You can see exactly the shipping cost that they were charging up front. And one of the problems, if I understand it correctly, is they didn't charge enough shipping. And so it kind of fucked them. In this day and age, one of the complaints they said is the postal service, the shipping community went from by volume and they went from weight to dimensions, and that changed the shipping game. Now, I get it. Companies change their mind all the time, but I don't think that change happened overnight. I don't think it was Monday morning and everybody came to work and all of a sudden there was an email in their inbox that said, hey, by the way, we're changing the shipping policy effective today. I don't think that happened. I think they gave them a date and everybody knew when it was going to happen, and Palladium just didn't factor in properly. And, and that's ridiculous. In my opinion, if you see those changes in the shipping rates happening and you start doing some basic math and you go, oh shit, we're not going to have enough money to ship everything. You better get a note out to your backers right away and say, hey, guys, include a copy of the letter from UPS and say, hey, this is what's happening. This is out of our control. If you want your stuff, you're going to have to pay more money. I'm sorry, but I think people are going to grouse. They're going to be pissed, but I think they would be more apt to say, okay, well, it's not their fault. It's UPS doing it, or the post office or FedEx or whoever, okay, it sucks, but I want my shit, or I want a refund. In which case they could have done that before the production process was in full swing, and they could have saw, okay, well, 30% of our backers are backing out. We understand we're going to cut back production by 25%, so they're not out a ton of money. But I think they mismanaged this thing from the start. And my point to this rant is that if you look at their forums, if you look at the past history of Palladium, they have a history of mismanaging stuff. One of the best things in the world is the Nokia N-Gage cell phone. They went into this huge partnership with Nokia and some software firm that was going to make the Rift's game on the Nokia N-Gage phone. It was a crappy phone. Let me rephrase it. It was an okay phone. The game looked amazing, but it was a tiny little screen. And, you know, they sold it as this huge, awesome gaming rig, and it never took off because we have Game Boys, and we have, at the time, we had the PS Vita or whatever it was called before that, the PSP. So there was no market for the N-Gage. It's just bad marketing decision. You got Game Boy selling like hotcakes. They can't keep them on the shelves. And you got the PSP from Sony that's selling out like hotcakes. And you're going to go release a cell phone game platform that nobody else has ever thought of doing. I understand innovation and risk and everything, and, you know, being the first to market to get something, but it wasn't an amazing cell phone to start with. And the game, while it looked really cool, I don't know, I never got to play it because I don't know anybody who had an N-Gage. You couldn't buy an N-Gage. They didn't make enough to meet the supply and demand. It's like every time you went to go to Nokia to buy one, you could pre-order them. They were stupid expensive. I think at the time they were like $300-400, and that got you the N-Gage, and that didn't include your cellular plan. That was just to get the device. And I think, to be honest, what they were doing is that was the upfront money. You were paying for them to actually make that device, you know, right then and there when you ordered it. And they were hoping that the supply and demand would be enough that they could further make print runs. And it never happened. I never saw that N-Gage phone in any cell phone store on the West Coast, because at the time I lived in California. I never saw it anywhere in California. And I was all up and down Northern and Southern California back then, because I had just started my IT career. I was all over the place. I never saw it. So bad decision right there. I'm sure they lost a shit ton of money on that. You know, and it's just one of those things. There was talk of a movie script that Kevin could never, for whatever reason, they couldn't get it right, and things, one excuse after another. So just a history of excuses for this company. And then they're going to come up and ask you for all this money for a Kickstarter that they can't really produce. They can't really get it going. So I don't get it. I understand why people are upset, because people dumped money and they want their product, but they're not going to get it because this thing was so poorly managed, and now Palladium's lost the license. What do? What do you do? Well, here's one of the things that Kevin said in his email. He said, help us recoup. Now, and this is the part that got me in the craw. I'm screwing you. I'm not going to give you what you paid for, but if you give me more money, I'll give you the products from Wave 1. What? No. No. How about you give me my money back? Now, a little thing about Kickstarter, and I'm not a lawyer by any means or shape, but I've read the basic contract with Kickstarter, and the way I interpret it, and I could be wrong. I'm not, like I said, I'm not an expert on this, but the way I interpret it is, if you accept product in lieu of the final product, you lose your right to file a complaint. So in other words, if I say I'm going to make widget A and I need $100, and then the Kickstarter ends and you go, hey, where's widget A? And I go, oh, couldn't make widget A, but we've made widget B. It's smaller and it's worth less, but I'll send you that instead. If you say, okay, your ass out. That's the way I understand it. And anybody who's a contract negotiator or understands this kind of stuff, feel free to leave a note there and chime in and let me know. But I just thought, man, this is pretty shitty. You raised a god-awful amount of money. You've got fans all over the world that are just chomping at the bit to get this stuff. And here's the sad part. I've seen some of the miniatures for Robotech for the game, the Wave 1 miniatures. They're awesome. They look great. I didn't put any together. I don't know how well they went together or how well they hold up. But the initial box that I saw in my favorite local game store for some of the miniatures looked amazing. It was the Zentradi, the walkers. They're like pods with big long legs, and you know, I'm not a huge Robotech fan. Never was. I saw the movie once years ago, But the point being is that the product looked pretty good. And from what I saw of some people, they were very happy with it. And they were excited and eager to get Wave 2. Well, Wave 2 is never coming. You are ass out. Any money that you put into that and you are waiting for is gone. You're not getting. And of course, it's been 5 years. 5 years with no product. I mean, I would think after 3 years, I'd start raising some fuss, and because I understand it's Kickstarter and we expect things to take a little while, but not more than 3 years. If you go 3 years, then something's not right. Your money is gone at this point. I think you're living in a fantasy realm if you expect to see something from that after that amount of time. Another one I'm not here to bash certain Kickstarters, but I'm just saying, do your research before you plop down your hard-earned money. Don't Kumini or not, fantastic company, make great games. Soda Pop makes awesome miniatures, but they have a horrible track record. I mean, I'm sorry, there's just no polite way to put it. They are late on everything. People don't get everything they pledged for. There's all kinds of mistakes and issues with the stuff that people have bought. Why would you? It's like going to a restaurant, going to a sushi restaurant, and you get bad sushi, and you keep going back. You eat gas station sushi, and you get sick as a dog. You're on the side of the road heaving your guts out, and the next day, oh, I think I'm going to stop in and get some more gas station sushi. You have no one to blame but yourself. You're not very smart at that point, and I think you need to reevaluate your life lessons here, because you're missing something, people. I mean, come on. So I feel really bad for all these people that are out. I feel bad for Kevin in the fact that this is probably going to tank his company, and this is his live stream. It's the only thing he's done for years. And it's a shame, because, like I said, I know almost every gamer out there that's been gaming for at least 5 to 10 years has at least one Palladium book in his collection. If you're using it for reference, or you're using it for background history or ideas or the art, everybody's got at least one book. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Splicers, you name it. Somebody's got one of those books in their collection at least. And so to see a part of gaming history get blown away by a bad Kickstarter, and to have such a negative connotation wrapped around its IP is going to hurt. I mean, it's going to hurt Savage Worlds, because people are going to go, "Oh, that's Rifts. I ain't touching that." I guarantee you, in the next 6 months to a year, Savage Worlds is gonna feel the hurt in sales of Savage Rifts, because people are going to be, it's not going to be for a good 2, 3, 5 years before people go, "Oh yeah, I remember that game." And the first thing they're going to say is, "Oh, that was a game that had a shitty Kickstarter." It's going to have nothing to do with Rifts. The Robotech Kickstarter had nothing to do with Rifts, but Rifts and is going to suffer for it. And is that right or wrong? It's not for me to say. That's for the people to say with their wallets, but it just sucks. So I guess my point is, buyer beware. I think that's really what it boils down to. Look at the history, look at what else they've backed, what other Kickstarters they've done. Do your research. I mean, you can love a product, inside and out. I mean, but you gotta think with your head, not your heart. I love Sean Patrick Fannin. He's phenomenal. Love him to death. I've gamed with him. He's an awesome guy. I go to every convention I can go to that I know he's going to be at. I dare I say he's one of my heroes in the gaming industry. I love Savage Worlds. Shintar is one of my ultimate favorite fantasy RPGs. Won't back his Kickstarter. I got burned on Shintar. I really did. I didn't get all the product I was supposed to get, and I think, let me rephrase. I did get everything I was supposed to get. It just took several years. And I live paycheck to paycheck. I'm not proud to say that, but it's the truth. And I have very little money to spend on the hobbies that I want to spend. So I have to spend my money wisely, just like everybody else out there. I'm not trying to say woe is me or whatever, but when I plop down money for a product, I expect to get it in a decent amount of time. And I expect to get what was promised me. and I don't want to have to send emails time and time again. And luckily, I will say, for Sean's credit, he realized he was in over his head, and he got help. He brought in some other people and professionals to give him a hand. And when he did that, that's when everything started rolling. And so it renewed my faith a little bit in him. But I'm telling you, as much as this Freedom Squadron game comes out that I want to back, I'll pick it up off the shelf. I mean, I'm gonna watch the Kickstarter. I'm gonna keep an eye on it. And if it does well and he does something later on in the future that I feel comfortable with, and it's something that I want bad enough that I might throw some money at it via Kickstarter, and I'm financially able to, I will. But unfortunately, I'm going to give Freedom Squadron a pass, just because I feel, and this is America, I'm entitled to my opinion, I feel I got burned a little bit with Shintar. I don't feel that I got the product that was promised to me. It's a phenomenal game. I love it. The books are gorgeous, but I mean, it took, what, 3 years to get everything? Almost 4 years to get everything. I think I just got the last piece sometime middle of last year. That's just, I mean, and there were problems, there were excuses, but at least, like I said, he did the right thing, and he said, hey, I have a problem. I can't do this. I need help. And he brought in people to help him, and everybody got their stuff eventually. And that part is cool. But as much as I want to see Freedom Squadron succeed, and I know it will, I have no doubt that it will, I just hope that he has the right people behind him and the right tools in place to make it a success on his end. Because when I look at companies like Feral Games Inc., that's pretty much a guy and his fiance, and they're producing 4 to 5 RPGs and Kickstarters, and they're getting product out there, there's no excuse. I'm sorry. I mean, and he lives in England, and he's getting products to America. It's the other way around, so, and there's no excuse. He's doing it. Everybody should be able to do it, and if you don't know how to do it, you ask for help. So I just, and please don't take this as an attack on Sean Patrick, because like I said, he's a wonderful human being, and he makes awesome games. And if you ever get the chance to play with him, go play, because he runs a phenomenal game. He's super cool. And I wish his Kickstarter nothing but gangbusters. I hope it does well, and I hope that I can see it on my favorite local game store shelf, and I can pick up a copy when I'm ready to buy it. And trust I don't have any money to spend. The wife already put the kibosh. No more. Stop. We can't afford it. Yes, ma'am. I mean, so it's not whether you do a good Kickstarter or a bad Kickstarter. I just can't afford it. It's that simple. So I'm going to wait until the product comes out on a shelf and I can pick it up, and maybe I'll miss out on that super cool cover, or I'll miss out on extra content, or I'll miss out on having my name on the inside of the book, which is always a kick when you open up a book and see your name as one of the backers. But I can't afford it. So I got realistic, things that I have to do, and I have to take care of my family. That is first and foremost. And so that's what I'm going to do. So it's not a matter of not wanting to give money to the Kickstarters. It's a matter of I can't. But I hope that sheds some light on people. A lot of people were talking really bad about Kevin, hoping he dies and stuff. That's toxic, guys. That doesn't help anything. A simple, comment in the thread, please issue a full refund. It's documented. You can even send them an email to their sales department with your backer number and all your backer information from your Kickstarter, and I think it's info@palladiumgames.com or palladiumbooks.com. So you can send them an email and you can say, hey, I want my money back. You failed to produce on the Kickstarter. I want my money back. And they, by law, have to give you your money back. It's that simple. And people have been talking about class action lawsuit and everything. I don't really see that going anywhere. I mean, if you guys can get it going, kudos to you. I hope it works out for you. But I think all that's going to do is force him to file bankruptcy, and then he's going to be absolved of everything. He'll have to liquidate his assets. And I guarantee you, he's going to have a lawyer, and they're going to milk it for everything it's worth. And you're not going to get anything in the end. You're going to get $20, $30 out of your $200, $300 that you pledged, if you're lucky, because they're going to take the money and they're going to split it between everybody. And so I don't think it's worth. I think just give me a refund. Some people were saying, oh, give me product in lieu of, Riff's books. If you do that, again, you're screwing yourself, and you have no shot of getting your money back. Now, if you're okay with getting a couple Riffs books or Palladium Fantasy books in lieu of the Robotech stuff, then by all means, go for it. But if you're thinking you want to do a class action lawsuit, or you want to sue him or whatever, you can't do that. You just have to hold out for a little bit longer before you get your money, if you even ever get your money. And I, like I said, again, nothing against Kevin. It's a horrible situation, but it is what it is. And now we just have to pick up the pieces, and we have to move forward. And hopefully people will do a little more research before they drop down their hard-earned money to, back a Kickstarter that may be from a questionable company. That's bottom line. So that's all I got to say about that. I hope I didn't bore anybody. I hope you if it made you think, or if you go and you look it up and you think I'm wrong about something, post it in the notes. Go hit me up on Discord. Hey, you asshole, you're wrong. Hey, you know what? I'll be more than happy to engage you in polite conversation. But that's my opinion. It's how I feel. It's what I read, what I gathered from all the messages on Kickstarter that I got for the situation. And like I said, it's horrible. It sucks, but it is what it is. But that being dead, let's wrap this up with Degenesis, German company, gorgeous fucking books. God, they have a Degenesis Discord. Go join it if you want to know more about the game. Like I said, I'm going to play, and I believe it's a Roll20 game with James from Feral Games Inc. We're going to record it. From my understanding, the GM has the ability to, we're going to record the session. We're going to do a character creation session, and then we're going to stream everything. So that's going to be awesome. I'm very excited to be a part of that. Look for it. I'll obviously keep notes up and information on Mr. Mean on my YouTube channel and on Discord. This is my little rant for the night. I wanted to talk about these two things because they were in my mind, and I felt they needed to be addressed. And I hope it clarifies some things, because there's going to be a ton of rumors. There always is. And that's the facts as I know them, and I am in no way, shape, or form remotely involved in this at all. I'm just a guy on the outside that was reading the Kickstarter pages and seeing what everybody was having to say, what Kevin said. I read his apology to the backers and his offerings for restitution, if that's what you want to call it. Do I think it's a good offering? No, I don't. I think everybody should get their money back. I think Kevin needs to be held accountable. For years, from my opinion, I think for years he's gotten away with preying on public sympathy. Woe is me. Woe is me. I'm so poor. My wife left me. So-and-so died. It's one excuse after another. And his fans support. I'm one of those fans. I supported him. I bought games. I bought in, I will say 99% of everything I've bought from Palladium has been off of my local game store shelf. So I'm supporting my local game store. A portion of that money does make its way back to Palladium books, and that's fine. I got the book I wanted. I got it when I wanted. I was able to walk up to a game shelf and pick it up and go, this is mine, and walk out and go home and read it and enjoy it. And that is the thing that is lacking in Kickstarter. You throw your money out there and you hope that the project funds. We're going on 4 years for the Sentinels of the Multiverse card game. I think 3 years, a little bit over 3 years now. I first moved to Sulphur when I backed that. I've lived in Texas now almost 2 years. June will be 2 years that I've been in Texas, and we're already in March, so that's not that far away. So that's a year and a half, we'll say. And then I backed that in Sulphur when I first moved to Sulphur, which was in middle of 2013, 2014. So yeah, we're looking at 3 to 4 years. Still don't have anything. Getting a lot of excuses. I mean, they're positive excuses, if that makes any sense. Product wasn't right the way they got it, and they sent it back. It's been a lot of back and forth with China. but they're making headway. And I will say that they've been very upfront and sending out notices once a month saying, this is what's going on. They brought more people in that were more experienced, because I don't believe that they expected the amount of backing that they got for this card game. And I think they might have made some stretch goals that were a little bit beyond their ability to meet. And they realized real quick that they better get their shit together, or there were going to be another Palladium Books. Sad to say, but they did. And like I said, it's still behind. It's way behind, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. And so I'm hoping to get that by the end of this summer or early Christmas present this year, which is still a ways away, but it'll be here before you know it. So, but that's enough about Kickstarter. I interview a lot of guys on the channel I've done 3 of them so far, and they're all successful Kickstarters. This Sunday at 11 a.m., I will have the fine gentleman from can't think of his name now. Daniel Burrow. He's the creative genius behind Cracked Monocle. I believe they changed their name to Parlor Games or something to that effect. And they've got a couple different IPs out there. They've got Retroscape. They've got, I guess, this Parlor game or something to that effect. I'm sorry, I don't know more about it. And then Tephra, which is where I know them from. I did a review early on in my channel for Tephra. It's a Steam fantasy game, and man, it's pretty cool. It uses a single D12. It's a very cool game, and I'm going to run it for my local gaming group here pretty soon, where I'm going to run Coriolis first, and then after Coriolis, it's going to be Tephra. And I have, you probably can't see it in there, but there's all the Tephra books there on the end, closest to me. That's all the Tephra books that are out right now, and they have all their stuff in PDF. They're a local company. I believe they're based out of Austin. Phenomenal guys. They're going to be at ChupacabreCon, I hope, again this year. We'll find out more. I'm going to do, like I said, an interview with him on Sunday. I'm going to have Daniel on the show, and we're going to talk about all that stuff, and we'll provide links to everything that's going on. It's a very cool company. They got some great ideas behind them, and just like everybody else I've had on the show, they're super awesome, and I'm just thoroughly impressed with his work ethic and his product. Tephra is an awesome game. If you don't know about it, go to Drive-Thru RPG and check it out. Tephra, Tephra, Fantasy Steampunk, and check it out. It's a super cool game. Very easy, 1 die. There's no convoluted dice rolls or anything. It's pretty simple, and it's a cool game. And if you like steampunk and you like fantasy, then this is the game for you. It's got some weird races in it and a lot of cool stuff, man. We're going to go more in depth on it when I get Daniel on the show Sunday morning. That'll be a live broadcast as well, and I'll put links up everywhere. They also have a Discord channel. They're on Facebook, so you can go look them up on Facebook, and then you'll find a link off of their Facebook page to their Discord channel, and you can join them there, or you can do a search. I believe you can just do a Discord. You can do a Google search for Tephra Discord, and I'm sure you'll find the link. But I know they have a invite link on their Facebook page. So that's coming up Sunday. Another game, a more in-depth game review of Degenesis after I get this spiral bound and I can actually read it. Right now I can't. It's loose leaf paper, and it's 354 pages or some insane amount of pages. And that's book 2. Book 1 is the world setting book, and it's another 370 pages. So this is a chunky game. And so I'll have that one printed tomorrow, and I'll probably get it spiral bound over the weekend. But this one I'm going to get spiral bound tomorrow so that I can start reading it and start getting ideas for making characters and getting the information so I can do my review, which I'll post as I normally do. And that'll probably be Sunday, late Sunday, maybe early Monday morning. I'll get that review up, I hope, in a perfect world. Saturday is my D&D game. I'm excited. I'm a player, so looking forward to playing that. And I'm going to spend the day with my family. I hope you guys get to spend the day with your loved ones and all that fun stuff. And as always, pop on over to Discord and say hi. I'm behind a computer all day, so I'm usually free to chat. If you got something or you want a game reviewed or whatever, send me a link. I'm more than happy to look at it and reach out to the publishers and or brains behind it and see if I can get them on the show. I enjoy doing this, so I like to do it more. And with your guys' help, I can. So as always, give a like and a subscribe. That helps me out. Look for this. I don't think you're going to find it in your local game store. Sadly, I think the production cost is prohibitive and the shipping is obviously prohibitive. But go buy the PDF of this, man. Degenesis. That's what it looks like. That's the cover. It's phenomenal. You won't go wrong. You'll love. This is one of the archetypes that they give. Look at that. That's phenomenal. You'll love it. You can't go wrong. Oh, here's a good one too. Some more art. We're sharing art. Look at that. Tell me that's not spooky. Dude's got horns out of his head and huge. Looks like an AK, some sort of gun. I don't know, and a staff. This is creepy. I'm trying to find a few more cool pieces of art. Oh, here's a good one. If you got young ones watching, cover their eyes. This is a little adult-oriented art, but it's very evocative of one of the archetypes or the cults or groups that you can belong to. They're all about sex. There's no better way to put it. They're all about love and sex and propagating, but they're genetically altered, so you're sleeping with a mutant. But the art is gorgeous. I mean, aside from, it's a beautiful naked woman. It's the art is just amazing in this book, and I can't wait to get it spiral bound so that I can actually read it and give you guys an in-depth review of it. This and the World Book. So again, German-based company, 6morevodka.com. Go out and check them out. They've got a Discord channel, and join it. Say hi, and buy the PDF. I know everybody doesn't have a printer at work or a print shop that can print it on super nice paper, but you can print it. You can print it pretty cheap if you just do it grayscale or whatever. I just had the capability at work to do it super duper. And man, I'm so glad I did. I can't wait to get this spiral bound and go from there. So anyway, I think I've rambled on about an hour now, and I just want to say thanks for the couple of people that are viewing. Hope you enjoyed it. If you got thoughts or concerns or comments, leave notes. And as always, peace and hair grease. Hit the like and subscribe button. And remember, Mr. Mean says be nice. Good night, everybody.